Hello, and welcome to this interview where we should be talking about various things to do with UFOs or UAPs, all sorts of various things. We'll see where the conversation goes. It is an honour and a privilege to be joined by a good friend of mine, a returning guest to the show, one Mr. Devon Tracy, aka Atheism is Unstoppable. Mr. Tracy, how are you, good sir?
Well, I have been knighted since we last spoke, so if you could add the sir next time, that would be appreciated. But I'll take
Sir
the
Devon.
intro. Thank you.
I heard you got
Uh,
a peerage. It's Lord Tracy, isn't it?
did you say I'm on my period?
No.
It is a pleasure to do business with you, to chat about something that has been a passion project of mine. I think it's everybody's responsibility to kind of understand what is happening and what is real. That's
Right.
sort of why I talked about atheism, because I care about what is real. And I'm
Mm.
here to report something that might disturb some people, it might cause a reaction, but I'm telling the world that these UFO, not all of them. Okay, let's start there. There's a lot of BS out there, but there's several cases that are 100% real, and we need to grapple with that as adults.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, you frame it in that way, because that was exactly what I had in mind to sort of start, or towards the very beginning of this conversation, was sort
Mhm.
of set out my stall on where I am with it.
Hmm.
And it's very, very similar to what you just said, i.e., I'm interested in what's real, what's
Correct.
true. I'm not interested in believing in UFOs or aliens or whatever it is. I'm not interested in taking anything on faith. I'm interested in what's real, what's true, what we can really prove. I mean, as a history fan, history nerd,
Mhm.
when you study history, that is really what it is, trying to find out from the accounts and from archaeological evidence what's true, what's really true, what's real. And so, although I would love there to be aliens, to be us, that we've been visited from by people, for creatures from another star system,
Mhm.
um, I would love that to be true, but until there's actual full blown 100% undeniable slam dunk evidence, I'm actually quite skeptical, or very skeptical. I think that's the best way to be very skeptical, and skeptical until we've got lots and lots of information. Having said proper slam dunk evidence, having said all of that, I've got many, many, many questions.
Mhm.
And I suppose one of the places we're coming from at this point is that even the US government, the Pentagon themselves, the White House, the
Mhm.
FBI, are talking about, and have been for a while now, haven't they? UAPs. They don't like UFO much anymore, do they? They like UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon, of which, as you said, it's just definitely the case. It's a matter of record. Whether they're from another world, that's something else. We can talk about that later a bit. But there are certainly things that are in the air that are unidentified. I mean,
Well,
is that
I
sort
mean,
of where you're coming from?
that's a low bar. So you have intrigued me with a lot of those statements. First of all, you talked about I don't want to believe. I want to see. For me, that's a poster from the X Files. It's a
Right.
slogan. I want to believe.
Mm.
For me, I want to know. I want
No,
to
yeah.
know,
No, me too. I
and
agree. Yep.
yeah, get belief out of here.
Mm, mm.
And that's a key distinction. But you also took it to another place, which I've tried to inspect within myself. You said you want there to be aliens. You want this to be true. I don't even know if I agree with that. And I want to challenge you on that and press and ask you why. Why would you want for us to have been visited by aliens?
Well, I mean, it's a classic thing. I think Arthur C. Clarke says there's two possibilities: either we're alone in the universe or we're not. Both are equally terrifying.
Hmm.
Arthur C. Clarke said, I I just think it would be I think it would be wondrous, assuming if there are aliens, that they're not completely malevolent and evil and seek to annihilate us. As long as that's not the case, I just think it would be wondrous. I think it would
It,
be incredible. It will blow
it
my mind
definitely,
in a good way, as long as they're not here to destroy us. I just,
yeah.
I don't know why that's my sort of default feeling. Do you not have a feeling one way or another?
No, I really find that I'm neutral, and I think
Okay.
it helps me because I don't really have a conflict of interest. I mean, I see
Mm,
the
mm,
perils of this and the dangers. I don't really necessarily think this is a net good for us. First of all, it might not be the aliens that are the bad guys. We are the bad guys. I mean, first of all, if alien tech is in our hands and our own guys are saying it is, that would represent the biggest arms race of all time.
mm,
And we have maybe we're in that and have been in that for 70 years.
mm,
And what
mm,
we do with that tech is kind of the problem. So that is where my concern is.
mm.
As far as the rest of it, you offer skepticism, and a lot of people on the internet, I am skeptical of a lot of people's skepticism.
Hmm.
So I don't
Okay.
think it's good enough to say, I'll wait till the proof comes. That's not how it works. That's not how history works. That's not how court cases work. We're talking about reasonable doubt. We're talking about
Okay.
a collection of evidence. And I think we have sufficient evidence to generally understand what is happening in reality. And so, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's going on a tour, he's selling a book, he's grifting off this whole thing, and his main point is show me the alien thing. So Neil, once we provide an alien to him, he'll then say, okay, aliens exist. And it's like, well, then what is the point of you, Neil? It's like, hey, why even have a murder trial? If I show you a video of the guy murdering someone, then, or no, not even a video, because that could be fake. If you personally witness the guy murdering someone, then you as a juror will convict, and that's the only way you will convict. I mean, it's a ridiculous standard.
Okay. I mean, I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from. It's just for me, it's one of those things where, well, put it this way: for you, you're saying that you're personally convinced already that at least some of the UAPs are of an extraterrestrial origin.
Well, I would make the immediate point that it doesn't matter. This is like saying, I sucked on Scarlett Johansson's breast. And you say, which one was it, the left or the right? It's like, it literally doesn't matter.
All right.
So if it's human made, if it's a combination, alien and human, it represents an advancement of technology that is startling and would catapult humanity into a totally new era and chapter of our story. So it is a revolutionary thing, and it's the biggest story on Earth. And I grant that some people don't have time. There's distractions, there's bills to pay, there's lives to live. A lot of people are ignorant. They just don't know the evidence for some of these cases. And it is sullied by the fact that there's so many bad UFO sightings and just trash evidence and claims and grifters and idiots in this arena. So that muddies the water, and it's a shame because there are some that you really need to be aware of.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I would ask you about then, with the Scarlett Johansson analogy, I can't agree with you there. I would feel like if some of these things have been manufactured by alien minds and hands and eyes on a planet that's orbiting another star, that is profoundly different for me than if it was just built S4 or Area 51.
No,
that
of
would
course,
make like all the difference in the world to me. It would be mind-blowing on an exponentially larger level. Am I missing? Sorry, am I missing your point slightly? I feel like maybe I am.
Yeah. Well, I have to explain it a bit more because, yes, obviously, speaking frankly with you, yes, it's obviously alien. It's obviously alien. There's a good chance that we are trying to reverse engineer and have our own version of alien tech. So it's probably a little bit from both, but it originates from alien tech for sure. The issue is, the reason I don't want to dive into that is because there is no substantial proof of that claim specifically, even though it's logically, it's going to be that. You're going to find that it is that. But if we find that it's Lockheed Martin or making Tic Tac UFOs or Russia or China, the story is equally huge, and we need to, it's an arresting reality. So a lot of the sort of fedora wearing types, they go prove aliens, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, all this stuff, and they have a thing, a sort of hate boner when it comes to aliens as a topic, because it's very scary. And I don't want to dive too much into the religious stuff, but like, here's a spoiler: the existence of aliens should negate all Bronze Age claims of religion. Like, it's kind of ridiculous, but I know those people won't let it do that, and they'll just say God. The answer is God. In mysterious ways, he built a universe that has 1 trillion other life forms, and it's like, oh my God. Okay, it should nullify all of that, but I don't have time for those people, and I know they're going to cope and pivot and just incorporate the BS with more BS. So I don't think that the alien conversation is at the forefront. I think really what needs to be discussed is the raw facts, the data. I would not be interested in this if it was not true, and it is true. And I can name for you 3 UFO sightings that I will put my reputation on. Not that that holds much weight with the outer world, but it does for me, that these things actually happened and they are real.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's just dive straight in, because before we do, just say, I'm prepared to accept that there may well we may well have been visited. I mean, my position is I don't know. I don't know, but I'm prepared to accept. You see, there is a difference, right? For example, that things Bob Lazar saw were manufactured on a planet orbiting another star. I don't know for sure. I wouldn't bet my reputation on it, but I'm prepared to accept it. I wouldn't.
Okay, hold on.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be all that surprised if that did turn out to be the case.
Let me dissect. You said I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to investigate what you actually mean by that. Do you know that there was a French and Indian War? Do you know that?
Oh well, okay. We're immediately getting into almost a philosophical question. How do you know
I think
anything?
it's important.
It's a fair question. It's a good question.
Yeah.
But you're already into the realm of how do you know anything, right? That's how can you know anything? And sorry, go ahead.
It's degrees of certainty. I'm sorry. It's degrees of certainty. So you know that history is, a confusing place. We don't have 100% certainty on any historical claim. We have very good cases to make, incredibly educated guesses or knowledge that we've acquired, but we don't have this 100% standard. We don't have that for murder trials. We don't have it for history. And so for UFOs, people keep saying, well, wait for give me the crystal clear HD, this and that. They're releasing it. Dude, they just released a HD video of a Tic Tac UFO flying around. That's not the first one. We have 3 others of that. The Mexican Air Force has video of these craft. So video, it's kind of a shame that our tech has, AI and all the video editing stuff has made video pointless. The same with pictures. We're way past that. So we're in a new era where the chessboard has been thrown up into the air. And it's like, how do we know anything is once again on the table. So when you say, I don't know, do you have a guess? Do you have a hunch? Do you have beyond a reasonable doubt of a understanding?
Yeah. I mean, if we take, for example, Bob Lazar's story.
Yes.
For anyone who doesn't know, he said out in the desert of Nevada in Groom Lake, beyond Area 51, there's S4, and he saw craft that were built by aliens from Zeta Reticuli, a star 40 light years away. I would say I've got some questions about Bob Lazar and his story, but it does seem quite convincing. Personally, I would put it at, I don't know, if I've got to put an arbitrary number in it, I'm sort of between 60, 70, maybe as much as 80% convinced by Bob Lazar's story.
It's interesting.
Something like that.
Yeah, that number has been moving, not just for you and me, but for the public. And Bob it's really not because of Bob. It's because of everything else that's happened while Bob has been hanging out with his wife up in Oregon. So he has been confirmed to be correct on a number of things. In the end, though, Bob is only one guy, and he has one sort of recounting of his life to tell. And whether you trust him or not, it's a big ask. And people go back to the Carl Sagan thing of extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And he's the first guy to tell you, I don't have that evidence yet. Now he does. Ironically, he does have the evidence and he could prove it to the world. He just doesn't care. He literally, imagine someone calling you a liar and a scumbag. Millions of people. Like imagine if you're Amanda Knox or Bob Lazar, and you are just so exhausted by it about proving your work history, your schooling. Just, are you a serial chronic liar? He truly does not care to convince you and spend his life convincing a never-ending sea of people who don't believe him that what happened in his life happened in his life. I personally will say point blank, I think Bob Lazar was telling the truth.
No,
and this is after years of investigation. I did not come to this lightly.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Or take, for example, the account of Commander Favourite and the Tic Tac. I'm more like 95% convinced of that account. At the very least, that he believes what he saw. I mean, I don't know. Are you laughing because I'm not saying 100%?
Well, I mean, what would it take? Was it the sonar, the radar?
Fair question.
The dozens of eyewitness accounts from was it the fact that it was in broad daylight for he chased the thing for 5 minutes? Yeah. I mean, we were following those craft for 2 weeks. It's not the only Tic Tac sighting. And the fact that you just mentioned Fravor is interesting. He had a co-pilot. He had an R2-D2 behind him. He had Alex Dietrich, another pilot, as his wingman, wingwoman, and she had a co-pilot. There's many people that saw the Tic Tacs, and there really is no other alternative. Mick West, the famous UFO debunker, he tried to claim that it was seagulls, that he had seen a seagull. He said there was a 40-foot white propane tank teleporting through space that I stared at and engaged with. And he goes, yeah, it could have been a seagull, could have been a glint, like a flare off the sun. I mean, there is no counter argument to this. If you don't understand that Tic Tac is real, you're not really a serious player in any conversation about UFOs.
I mean, as I say, I did say up to 95%. Maybe I'll leave that to 98, 99%.
No. 95% is a good number. That's a good number.
I think it's... Maybe you'll think this is a cop-out or this is weak sauce or something, but I like to leave like a 1%, 2%, 5%.
No, I'm not looking for certainty.
Because it's possible. I don't think so. I really don't think so. But it's possible he's bullshitting.
Yeah, I mean, look, the numbers are in flux. I don't think
he is. I really don't think he is, but it's possible, right?
When you say he, are you talking about Fravor?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then it was captured on a number of different things. Yeah. No,
he's not even the guy that filmed it. Like, there's totally other humans involved. So the one person doubting one person is a Bob Lazar thing. And that's what limits his believability. Because no matter how many things happen, by the way, Bob Lazar has had dinner with David Fravor. They understand that what they witnessed is the same propulsion. It's a different craft.
I would have liked to have been at that table.
Very much so. But I mean, it's a fascinating conversation. Neither of those guys are into UFOs at all. Yeah. Like, they're super down to earth, skeptical type guys. But people have a thing. There's a weird thing about Bob Lazar, which I think I've ferreting out, which is I don't think people like him. I think they judge him. They think he's white trash. And they don't think that he should be the guy to break the biggest story in human history. You're not worthy of that. You're a guy who dated messed up women. You have some petty crimes that you committed. You're kind of a goober. You ran a brothel. Like, you went to a community college. You're not elite. You're not the best and brightest among us. And anyone in the science field of any kind, it's almost like they're personally insulted that they didn't get tapped on the shoulder to reverse engineer the UFO. And so Bob takes this weird, it's sort of like a passive aggressive vitriol towards him. And they just simply don't trust him because of that. But we can go over the things that have happened that confirm what Bob's saying is true or is likely to be true. For example, you talk about David Fravor. I mentioned all the other people at the Nimitz encounter that confirms that what happened in 2004 is real. We haven't even mentioned that our military, the U.S. military, in 2023 saw Tic Tacs, 3 of them, do the exact same stuff, and they filmed it. And those guys went and testified in Congress under oath that they saw Tic Tacs. That's the USS Jackson. I mean, so you add that to the story. It's the same spot, by the way, within like a 10-mile square radius of where the other Tic Tacs were doing their stuff. So add that to the formula.
That's in the Pacific, wasn't it? Off the West Coast.
Yeah. It's right off of San Diego. We got some islands out there. Catalina. There's one called San Guadalupe and one other, San Clemente. And they're just going south. And I don't know why. There's so many questions about it. But the evidence is overwhelming about the Tic Tacs. And you got to put a pin in that. You got to say, look, that's a real thing. And I have to now organize my understanding of this universe based on the fact that was a real thing. And it's not a minor thing to grant. And most people don't grant it because they don't have the time to investigate it, I think.
Yeah. Well, Thunderfoot said it was a bird. It's obviously a bird. It just looks it's just like it's moving fast because of the parallax effect. It's obviously some sort of seagull or something.
Thunderfoot, he is one of those science guys that would have a grudge that anyone else. I mean, I did videos debunking his attempted debunking of was it Bob Lazar or Tic Tac? I think it was
a Tic Tac,
yeah. No, it's sort of sad, and it's not just one sighting. We've seen this multiple times. They literally last week just released more footage of Tic Tacs. So that phenomenon is real, and the answers are, it seems to be right. We're almost there. Like we have to have some answers on the Tic Tac front. But what it shows me and it tells me is that instantaneous teleporting like travel is possible. So this is the big question. And if you want to get into the Fermi, what is it? The riddle, the paradigm, paradox. That's right. We can talk about that because this is the answer to that. Because here's the skeptic. Here's what the skeptic says. I don't want to be caught with my pants down here. So I'll say, look, yes, there are aliens in existence. The universe is so big, there's trillions of stars. Obviously, there's some Goldilocks zones. That's the safest, most boring thing ever. You know, you're never going to feel like an ass by saying that. Then they'll say, I just don't think they've visited us because, cut to Neil deGrasse Tyson and other douchebags like that, show me the alien. And the second I can hold the alien and, you know, feel it with my own hands, then I'll tell you. And it's like, well, what is the point of you? Why do we need your mind on this if you're going to tell us something is real once it's proven to be real? Like, what? Again, it's just, that's not how history works. It's not how murder cases work. It's the same thing. What was I saying? I totally forgot what I was saying.
Talking about, well, starting to talk about the Fermi paradox.
Yes, like right. So they'll say, I just don't think they visited us, to which the answer is, they have come up with a way to travel through space-time that is light years ahead of us. So how old is Earth? 4 billion years, something?
6.
And how old is the universe? Is it 6? I think you're thinking of 6 million Jews in the Holocaust.
I think the sun is 6 billion years and the Earth is similar to that.
Right.
But the universe is like 13.5.
Exactly. I thought it was 4 point something. The point is, if we are life and we invented science 300 years ago and humanity is a few 100,000 years old, depending on when you want to, we'll talk to Dawkins about it. This is a very short amount of time. The chances that alien life exists is 1,000,000%. The chances that they've had, here's a conservative estimate, 100 billion years. Sorry, that I just overshot it by orders of magnitude. 100 million years, 100 million years head start on us. The point is, and what Bob is saying and what all these sightings indicate, is that they have come up with a way to either come up with gravity, manipulate space-time, bend it, wormhole it. This is theoretically has always been possible. We always knew this. And it's just a total game changer. So the distances are, it's not a moat anymore. It's not an excuse. They can and do travel those distances in a very short amount of time. And we don't understand it. And that's the whole point. But we shouldn't be Dunning-Kruger about it. We should understand that we don't understand it and that they probably do. And it's not a stretch, really. This is really scientifically grounded.
Well,
what do you think about why they haven't shown up or the whole paradox?
Well, okay. Cool. Where to begin? I mean, on different, it depends what mood you catch me in. I hope that's not too much of a cop-out. Some days, so it depends. Some days I think I'm more inclined to accept it than others, I suppose. So, well, talking about moving faster than light, or at least as fast as light, because, well, let's go back to Bob Lazar's story, where he said that these creatures, this craft, came from Zeta Reticuli in the Reticulum constellation in the southern hemisphere. That's something like 40 light years away. Now, 40 light years is an insane distance. Even Alpha Centauri, 4 light years away, just 4 light years away. Our fastest rockets, that takes like 70,000 years for a one-way trip, right? So 40 light years away, you would have to travel almost as fast as light, if not faster, in order to go there and back sort of regularly in any sort of way. So, okay. Bob Lazar says, oh, no, sorry, go ahead. You said,
you're thinking like a primate that was evolved on the savannah.
Because if you let me finish my thought. But so okay. So then if Bob Lazar says that there was this drive, some sort of drive that was able to manipulate, and this is his story, isn't it? Sort of manipulate a gravity, which means to manipulate space-time to the point where you might be able to move a craft effectively instantly across maybe an infinite amount of space, right? So, okay. So if you accept that, then okay. So that's the thing. If what Bob Lazar says and other people that the physics of that is possible. Now, it is outside our understanding of physics, but that doesn't mean it's not real. That doesn't mean it's not possible. It just means it's outside our current understanding of physics, which may well be, or almost certainly is, isn't it, extremely primitive. So,
I don't
so
even.
go
Yeah,
ahead, go on, you go.
I don't think I agree with it's outside of our understanding of physics. It's outside. It's outside of our current attainment of the materials to do this.
Okay.
So we understand the mechanism. You could easily theorize it. I mean, just because we can't do it. For example, when Bob Lazar made the claim about element 115, there was 109 elements. Now, super heavy elements are hard to keep stable, and they had always theorized about this island of stability, and that eventually, maybe, possibly, if we collide a bunch of protons, we could come up with, but it's only for a microsecond. We don't have this element, we don't have the resources, but we understand the idea. I mean, this is how we built atomic bombs and whatnot.
Although we do, it's Moscovium, isn't it? Element 115, Moscovium. Yeah. They did
eventually. It came out.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But it only lasted for a split second, so it's not. It's an isotope that is. Put it this way, it's like saying, "Hey, this Swiss watch I have has actually 500 moving parts in it, individual parts. If I chuck it against a wall, let's see if I can set the record and split it up into 800 parts for a split second." You know, we are very primitive with what we're doing with it, and we cannot harness it. But if you could, and he has something where you have matter colliding with antimatter, and it's creating just an enormous amount of power. Now, we have used this tech, or rudimentary versions of it, to blow things up, like bombs. This is sort of the same idea. The aliens, or whatever these things are, have figured out a way to utilize this in a propulsion system. Now, that is the science. That is this is our best guess for it. Bob did not reverse engineer this. People say, "Oh, Bob thinks he has all the answers." He doesn't know. He says, "We have no idea. We were throwing golf balls at the reactor to see if they would bounce off the thing." Like, they were making wild guesses. And look, maybe in the last 40 years, they've made advances. Maybe some of those advances are the Tic Tacs. Our Tic Tacs seem to like to mess with our military. I mean, look, he's been right about a multitude of things. You mentioned Area 51. He was the first one to make that even a known thing, to mainstream the notion that we have a secret base in the Nevada desert called Area 51. He was right.
Or S4, isn't it? That's his story. It's
wait, but that's the second secret military base he has claimed. The first one finally got acknowledged by our government in 2013. The second one, next to nobody think that's real. There is no proof that S4 exists until now, until recently. I don't know how up to date you are with this, but a friend of mine now, this guy named Scott Mitchell, he came out with a picture. They have a picture of these secret hangars built into the side of a mountain right outside Papoose Lake, which is, a 15-minute drive, 30-minute drive down from Area 51, which is where he said it was. He's been saying this since 1989. There's never been corroborating evidence. We have a picture of it now.
Can I say why, for example, I will leave myself a tiny amount of leeway, call it intellectual cowardice if you like, but I'll leave myself something like a little bit of leeway. Like, I'm prepared to believe Bob Lazar up to 95%, 99%, but not 100. If I could just say, I'd be interested to know what you would say about this. That, Bob Lazar has been vindicated over and over and over again. I'm absolutely convinced that he's convinced of his own story. But there's this one thing about Bob Lazar, and I'm not going to go down the route of the legal brothel and the problems he had with his wife, but it's this, and I can tell Bob Lazar's story inside out, is that quite often, very, very often, the trail ends with Bob Lazar's story when he talks about that guy he was working with at S4. Does he call him Barry?
Yeah.
Was it Barry? A lot of the time when people say, "Okay, so how do you know that?" And it's like, "Barry told me." Or, "How can you prove this or that?" And it's like, it was Barry. It was Barry. Who's Barry? Can't tell you. Never knew his surname. It's sort of, it's a little bit almost too convenient. And again, I'm 99%, 98% on board with the Bob Lazar account and stuff, but the way it always ends with Barry.
Okay, well, first of all, they do know his surname. It was Castillo.
Okay. You know more about it than me then. Please enlighten me. Go.
I think they think they found him.
Okay.
But Barry, and also Dennis. So I think they found Dennis too, who was his sort of military overseer. But Barry, that was the scientist who was there, the physicist who, was his buddy, and they had the buddy system. Bob Lazar was the new young guy. He was the guy that they brought in just on a whim, take a shot. Like, we've probably been working on this thing for a couple decades, and we haven't figured it out. So bring this guy in. And so I don't know why. I mean, he did have a buddy, and why is that weird? So again, I would challenge your idea. The premise of your statement is it's strange that he had a guy that he was working with.
Oh, no, not that that's strange. Just that the story ends there. Is that, as far as I'm aware, until you just told me that we never know who Barry was. We don't get to interrogate Barry. We don't get to, because all the questions we get, all the questions you've got for Bob Lazar, he's like, I don't know. You would have to ask Barry, but there is no Barry to ask. It's not that it's weird that he had a buddy system.
Okay, well, yeah, it would be much better for Bob and for the believability of the story if another person came out. I don't think it would be enough, quite frankly. But yeah, and Bob, by the way, Bob expected Barry to come out. Bob did a podcast, Area 52, the other day. They said, I don't know if Barry's still alive. If he is, he should contact me. So Bob was expecting other people to come out of the floodgates, but it just didn't happen because, Bob was taking flack. No one believed him. You have to understand, 1989, no one believed any UFO anything. But, his story is so wacky and crazy. The thing is, other people confirming Bob's story, that doesn't work. Like, let me explain to you. Bob took a video of the UFO in question that we're talking about, the sports model. Yeah. There's a video of it. Okay. It's a light in the sky. It looks like the game of Pong. It's a 1989 old ass camera filming a dot in the sky, but the way it's moving is teleporting around, as he described and as his friends described. So you have Gene Huff, his lifelong friend, some real estate agent out there. He's describing this for decades. Like, I went out there. He took me out multiple nights, Wednesday nights, 3 of them. John Lear as well, his ex-wife as well. Multiple other people, eyewitness accounts, plus a video. And, so, yeah, we don't have Barry. We don't have Dennis. These guys did not come forward. But would it matter? Would it even matter? Because, he has a video and he has other eyewitnesses. And most people don't even know that. Most people haven't even seen the video.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's a good question. If Barry did come forward and we got to ask him, okay, all the questions we asked Bob, and Bob just said, you'd have to ask Barry, I don't know. What did Barry do before? What, apparently there's stories that some scientists tried to cut into this thing and it blew up in some way and killed them. And that's why they needed new people like Bob Lazar to come in. Like, I want all that story from Barry. Like, what research was done after Bob Lazar left.
Yeah. He wants to know that.
You get to quiz this Barry all about that. But then would that... You're right to ask, would that even answer everything? Would I be comfortable saying, okay, I'm 100% convinced it was built in a planet orbiting Zeta Reticuli at that point?
Okay, well, first of all, Bob doesn't even state with conviction that it's Zeta Reticuli. Okay. So he said, I read a briefing that said it was that. Right. It might have been misinformation. Like, he goes, look, I just kind of glanced over it and I was like, okay, well, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. It turns out that everything in his briefing was accurate because he saw it with his own eyes and tested it for months. But he's not claiming to, it's kind of hearsay. He's like, I read a document, but everything in the document about my project, it all checked out. So yeah, it would be great to have Barry. It would be great to have a lot of other stuff. I mean, here's one element 115. Bob took some. Bob has some. Not on his person, but he knows where it is, and he could theoretically produce this. Now, let's play out that scenario. What could Bob do with element 115? He goes on live TV, breaks it out. Who's going to test it? Who's going to verify it? What are the naysayers going to say? That's fake. That's nothing. You photoshopped it. He showed a W-2 from the naval intelligence that they're paying him. I'm working for naval intelligence. They go, no, you photoshopped that. That was, that's fake. Yeah. So could Bob hand it over to the government? Well, okay, you'll never see it again. Should he hand it over to Neil deGrasse Tyson on live TV? Geraldo Rivera? Like, in what way can he prove that he doesn't even want to prove it? By the way, he is backtracking on all this. He said, look, maybe I'm the asshole. He said that on his last Rogan appearance. He said, maybe the world is on a need-to-know basis. If I could do it again, I would not whistleblow. I would stay in the program. He thinks he made a terrible mistake.
I've seen him say that. I feel a bit sorry for him as well, because he obviously just wants to know. He said a number of times, hasn't he? I just really, really want to know. Like us. Just the same as us, I suppose. I mean, one of the things you say about if he produced some stable element 115,
Mm-hmm.
how would that be still proof? Who would test it? Well, there's one thing I've mentioned. There's a guy called Dr. Gary Nolan,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been on a whole number of podcasts. He was one interview I saw him recently was watching where he was talking to Jordan Peterson, of all people. He's done a fair number of podcasts, and he is sort of an extremely eminent scientist, sort of very, very, very eminent.
Mm-hmm.
He works on cancer research and sort of gene therapy and all sorts of things. In fact, a number of different things. And his CV, if you like, his credentials are immaculate.
Right.
He's completely and utterly credible. Let's say that. And he's done a number of things where, and one of the things he does is a genius or an expert in is the analysis of materials, like down to sort of the micron level stuff. And he's got people that claim to have foreign, alien material. And so one was from the Rendlesham Forest incident, and a couple from other places. And he's looked at them, done, proper scientific analysis down to sort of the very, down to like molecular level. And he's found a couple of things that he says are odd. It's not necessarily that they definitely originate from an alien planet, but they're extremely, extremely odd, right? So if Bob Lazar could give his a little bit of his 115 to Dr. Gary Nolan and let him analyze it, there are people out there, right? There are scientists that would be able to do stuff like that.
I think that guy, isn't he affiliated with like Harvard Medical or something?
Yeah, he's like some Harvard professor or Princeton or something or other. Yeah.
I mean, you could hand it over to a university or something like that, but imagine the arms race. So imagine what this is. This is the golden goose. Have you ever seen the movie The Gods Must Be Crazy?
No.
Okay, it takes place in Africa, and the whole plot is that this guy is flying in an airplane. He's drinking a Coke. He throws the Coke bottle out of the airplane. It lands in a tribe of Africans, and the new addition of this glass bottle revolutionizes their society. It has all these perks. They figure it's a tool. They can wield it. It becomes very divisive in the tribe, and the whole plot is a guy has to walk to the edge of the earth to throw this Coke bottle off the earth, because the gods must be crazy, because what is this thing? This is a new piece of tech. It's a great movie. My family had something to do with the making of it. But this is that. This is a new piece of tech. It's not going to be some pleasant like kumbaya moment. It's going to be piranhas going after this thing. For governments, there's going to be it's very dystopian to think of what might already be happening. I mean, what do you think the military would do if it found a UFO with this tech? Play out that scenario. It's totally crazy. Now, as far as the Bob Lazar stuff, in terms of believing him, the existence of the secret base in the mountain at S4, that should move the needle for you, because no one believes him about that. They don't believe him about the UFOs, about the reactor. They don't believe there is a secret base where he says there is, next to a dry lake bed south of Area 51. What I'm telling you, and I've done videos on this, is that we now have evidence that makes it damning, proven that there is hangars carved into the side of that mountain. It's not just the photo that was taken in 2020 from a fat pilot who took a photo from 17 miles away, but when you zoomed in and enhanced, you see the structure, you see the hangar doors. What we have done is we have found topography data. So laser beams that you bounce off the surface of the earth, it shows you that at that exact spot where Bob Lazar says they are, there is a man-made parallel lines, perpendicular, right there in the shape of 9 hangars in the exact spot. It's not natural. It is confirming his story. This is not a picture. It's topography. It's literally the elevation difference of the surface of the door. It's because they tried to embed a door into the side of a mountain on like a 30-degree slope. He's been talking about this for 50 years, 40 years. And we now have confirmed that. And it's silently, there's a lot of news stories in the world. This is a big one, because what that shows me is that this man is not lying. He's not lying about yet another huge part of his story. And at what point does it turn the tide for you, is the question.
Yeah, no, as I say, I'm largely, almost entirely convinced, but as I say, I leave myself that tiny bit of doubt. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a psychological. Maybe it is intellectual, or even sort of emotional cowardice or something. I don't know, because the argument you make rationally is basically airtight. But I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. I just can't. Yeah. I can't abandon the idea that until I see it with. I don't know. Until I see it with my own two eyeballs. I don't know. I don't know what.
Well, first of all, I'm not trying to convince you. So, like, you're allowed to have doubt. I have some doubt. I mean, we don't need to get to 100%. By the way, we don't operate. When I get on an airplane, I don't have 100% certainty that this pilot is not suicidal. You know, it's in the 90s maybe, but it's so we're dealing with percentages all the time here.
Yeah.
But one thing I would have you consider is the claims that Bob made about this craft was that it teleported. Essentially, it moves so fast that it's here and then it's over here. This is what him and his friends said. This is when he saw it on Wednesday nights. That's how it flew. It moves so fast that it's as if it's blipping through space-time. That is a crazy claim. That's a crazy claim to make in 1989. No one would believe it. They would say that you're breaking the laws of physics to have done this. So this is my analogy on this. If he was trying to lie, why add that to his story? Why add that type of motion? If anything, that makes his story less believable.
Of course, yeah.
You know, it's so random and wonky that it just happens to be true. That's just how life and reality works. But this would be like me telling you, hey, Bo, I just ran a 4-minute mile. And you think, wow, I mean, that's pretty fast. I know other people have done it, but that's, Roger Bannister was the first to do it. And I didn't realize you were into running like that. And, it's a big claim. But then I say, you know what? Also, I did it while being invisible. And I say, wait, and you go, wait, what? You're breaking the laws of physics. You were invisible and you broke the 4-minute mile. So this is like Bob saying, I am reverse engineering UFOs. Also, they teleport through space-time. Now, if 28 years later, you come to find out that Devin can turn invisible, and that is established for you, you then might circle back and go, holy shit, I think he might have run a 4-minute mile. Because the craziest part of his story has now been confirmed to be true. And why do I say that? The Tic Tac UFOs travel in this manner.
Yeah.
And it's not just the Tic Tacs. We have other accounts of it, noteworthy accounts that in the same way you got to put a pin in the Tic Tacs and say, oh my God, that's real. There's something that happened in Australia that also happened. And I don't think anyone really knows about it. And we just hit the 60th anniversary of this UFO sighting. And I used to call the Tic Tac incident the most credible UFO sighting of all time. It might not be. What happened in Westall, the school?
Westall, yeah.
It might be the most credible sighting, simply due to the number of people that witnessed it in broad daylight for 20 minutes, 10 in the morning. And so you are an educated man. You are a man who's up to speed with all things. You have an interest in this topic. And I asked you earlier today, do you know about Westall? I don't think most people have the foggiest idea about Westall. Tell me what you know about it.
Yeah, so it's one of those instances where it's a mass sighting, right? Mm-hmm. It's a mass sighting. So I think this actually does hit on something we said, I think, right at the very, very beginning, or as you said right at the very, very beginning, that there's so many accounts, so many sort of crazy, almost certainly bullshit accounts from people, hundreds, thousands of them.
Totally.
And we just want to talk about, or we're interested in ones that are credible to the point of being genuinely sort of intriguing or interesting. And then ones that, as you say, put a pin in, you just can't discount. Well, this does seem to be one of those because something like 300 people are supposed to have seen this, right? It was in Australia, it was over a school, and just in the middle of the day, right? Middle of the day, and loads of teachers and loads of kids, again, I think it's in the order of 300 people, all saw an unidentified aerial phenomenon, right? Or more than one even. One teacher came out, took a photo of it. This is what's on the screen right now. And to this day, because it's like, 60 odd years ago now, isn't it? To this day, all the people that are still alive say things like, I don't care what anyone says. I know what I saw. It wasn't a bloody weather balloon. It wasn't a figment of my imagination. It wasn't. It was really there. Now, when multiple people, hundreds of people, all have the same account or very, very nearly similar account, and there's no reason for them to lie or anything like that. This is when, again, as you talk about the preponderance of evidence, I can't discount this one. I wouldn't discount this one. It's one of those sort of true anomalies as far as I'm concerned. You might not like the use of that word particularly, but you know, it's not one where you can just say, look, this guy's he's not a credible witness. Because eyewitness testimony, as I know you know, Devon, but I'm just saying this for the audience, eyewitness testimony is a difficult thing. It really isn't all that reliable in the grand scheme of things. Quite often your memory lies to you. Quite often if enough time passes, your own memory is also faded and jaded in all sorts of ways. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So then you come down to this question of who is or who isn't a credible witness. How credible is that eyewitness testimony? Okay. But when you get dozens or hundreds of people claiming to have seen the same thing and they're adamant, and a lot of them are what a court would call a credible witness, if not a highly credible witness. And there's a photo of it.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, it's very, very difficult for me to sort of, well, I wouldn't deny it. I mean, well, there I am with that one. I mean, what do you make of it?
Well, it's
for you. Is that slam dunk? That's slam dunk evidence?
Yeah, this is something real that happened, and I give people the Pepsi challenge: go research Westall UFO, and you come back to me. You put on your lie detector, which we always have. It's software on our mind. We're always looking for bullshit. And you go listen to these people who are now in their 70s, and they meet up every year. We just had the 60th anniversary of this thing. They have grandchildren. They have been saying this constantly for decades. Now, noteworthy, they didn't talk about it at the time. 66, it got squashed. They were not allowed to talk about it. The school, the principal, you'd get detention. You could not talk to the news. The news came, Channel 9 News came, and they recorded a segment, and there were a couple articles written about it, but it was a local story, and they squashed it. It was say, look, it's crazy. There's a stigma about this. Do not talk about it. So it took decades. In 2005, a guy, this guy named Shane Ryan, he wanted to write a book. And so he decided, he made a Yahoo group. So the internet had just come out. So he's like, I'm going to make a group, and I want to make a book about this story. I think it might be a urban myth or like an exaggerated tale, but I remember hearing about some UFO at school, and it might be fun to write a book about that for kids. And he makes a Yahoo group. In come a flood of witnesses going, no, that actually happened. That is real. To date, this man and that community, 142 of the eyewitnesses have come forward and put in their story on record. 142. Do you know what happens if we have 142 eyewitnesses that say, Bo, you killed a cat in the street? You know what happens?
You
go
get
to jail.
Convicted of killing the cat. Yeah, yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And so it's to the point where I ran it by ChatGPT. If I had over 100 witnesses to a murder, how many would a prosecution feel necessary to bring in to court before it's redundant, before it's wasting the court's time? You wouldn't get more than 10. 4? Yeah, like 5 to 10. Like it's the point is established. These people are, how do I phrase this? There is a cultural divide. So if I saw a story, and there is a story of a Brazilian Roswell, and I'm listening to eyewitness accounts, but they're speaking Portuguese, and I don't have the same nuance with picking up lies with other languages and other cultures. These are Australians. These are people, these are grandparents now. They're testifying. They are, I don't know how to frame this. You look at it, there's not a single part of you that will think they're lying. They have no motivation to lie. Imagine lying about something that happened 60 years ago and holding on to it. Like, just imagine what that would mean in terms of the dishonor, the randomness of that, the pointlessness of that. It's just not part of human nature. And when you have 142 witnesses, what that tells you is, oh God, I have to grapple with the fact that this is something that happened. And there is a picture, which is of key significance.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so, okay, for myself, perfectly happy to accept all of that. But the next question, perhaps the more salient question really, though, is, So I've got the. Can you see the image I've got on the screen?
I do not, but describe it to me.
Okay. Well, it's a picture of the Westall. It's the Westall photo.
Okay.
The next question is though. Okay, that's an unidentified flying object, an unidentified aerial phenomenon. Good. Now, was it manufactured by alien hands on a planet around a different star, though?
Well, the thing about those craft is that they didn't just hover. So a lot of the stories talk about it hovering, and it actually landed behind some trees and hung out there for minutes, and students went right up to it. They felt the heat on it. There's eyewitness accounts of all of this. It left an imprint in the grass. The grass was knee high. There was a circle, a little mini crop circle of just the grass had been trampled and burned and singed, and it took off. There's 197 accounts, witnesses that saw the grass. Of that 197, 77 also saw the crafts. So it's just an enormous amount of evidence that this thing was there physically in the real world.
Yeah.
But it also teleported. So it also was jumping around the same way that Bob Lazar's craft did, the same way that Tic Tacs do. These kids in 1966 described what they said. It was zigzagging. It was, jumping around. It didn't make sense to them. How do you describe that? Is it even motion or is it teleporting? The guy who took a photo of it, the Polaroid, that was 4 days prior in a neighboring suburb. This guy was 25 years old. He was an engineer himself. He was visiting his parents' house. He was in the backyard. He was about to finish a camera roll of a Polaroid so that he can go in and process them. And so he's about to do a still life of a potted plant or something. He sees something hit his eye, and it's the sunlight is reflecting off of this craft, and it kind of sweeps across his eye line. He looks up, sees this thing, takes a photo of it. It's a crazy photo. It matches the the drawings that all these people, I would say kids, but they didn't, all that stuff got squashed in the 60s, but they draw what they saw now. And there's a documentary about this, and it matches what is in the Polaroid. Now, after he took that picture, the thing went up, well, it already was up on its side. So it goes up vertical, and then it shoots off into outer space, basically. Now, who do you think described crafts when they want to travel large distances? They go up vertical, rotate, and then jump out into outer space. Who said that?
Well, I don't know. Sorry, what do you mean?
Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar. Okay, sorry.
Bob Lazar mentioned this in speeches. He's like, look, it's neither here nor there, but when the craft wants to travel long distances, it rolls up on its side. Now, he had no idea that there's 142 people that are saying the exact same thing in Westall. These are not kids. I mean, they are kids like on an Epstein Island scale, but they're like 10 to 15 years old. These people are now in their 70s, and they're saying for 20 minutes we looked at this thing in broad daylight. So this is an arresting case, and I invite you to go check it out yourself. It is, and by the way, you talk about disclosure and who's behind this. There was a chemistry teacher there, a woman. There was one camera that the school had in its possession. She grabbed it, went outside. There's many eyewitnesses that saw her snapping photos.
Yeah.
After the event, some government officials and military guys in camo came, confiscated that camera. And by the way, the camo, the Americans were there. Like, the Americans are so dirty in all this. So this is not like an Australian cover-up. The Americans are deeply in bed here and are probably culpable. Who has that camera and who has that film? And would that be disclosed? So forget all this light in the sky crap that Trump and this administration is giving us. Give us the photos from Westall, because somebody has those pics. We have the one Polaroid.
We got the one, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that to me would be utterly fascinating to ever see those photos.
But so my question was, though, I'm absolutely prepared to accept it was a real physical thing that was physically there that day in 1966. Was it manufactured around another star, though?
Likely, yeah. I mean, what's the alternative? I mean, we could start talking parallel dimensions, future humans, some civilization underwater. Like, there's all sorts of theories, but each one of them is, absolutely crazy to contemplate and then to discuss once we find out. And that's what we're all edging to discover. We need to know, because think of what it means. Think of the new questions, the new conversations to have. What could we do with that tech? What should we do? And that's the real question. Humans, once we get tech, We usually use it to blow stuff up.
Mm.
But what should we do? What can we do? What are the possibilities?
Hmm.
And maybe it's too extreme, it's too advanced, it's too profound of a thing for us to even grapple with. I mean, we probably mess it up. It's like Lenny of Mice and Men holding a bunny rabbit. It's like it's not going to end with.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, the old narrative, the story, is that perhaps as early as like the 40s,
Mm-hmm.
that the U.S. military got their hands on materials, a ship, even whether it was gifted to us or whether it was crashed or whatever, that was of alien origin, and that
Mm.
they've been back engineering it ever since, and that Bob Lazar was absolutely 100% part of all of that. And so now the Tic Tac and other Tic Tac like instances,
Mm-hmm.
it is it's been manufactured on Earth by human hands, but some of the concepts, or a lot of the concepts behind it, were originally of alien origin. But either way, we still have been visited by creatures of an advanced science from another star.
That
I
would be
mean,
something.
is that what you think is going on here?
That's a very viable theory, and there's
Okay.
a lot of evidence to support that.
Okay.
I don't think the 40s. We seem to say that the 40s are the starting point, just because of Roswell. Roswell has soaked up a lot of the oxygen in the room. There were other things that happened in the 40s. The original flying saucer. Do you know where that comes from?
No, I don't know exactly what you mean.
The phrase flying saucer. It's actually a misconstrued. The guy was trying to explain the motion of some UFOs that he saw, and this took place in 1947. So the same. When was Roswell? Like 48, 47? It was
I
right
thought it
around
was
there.
47, 40, yeah, 47, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So there's a guy named Kenneth Arnold who was flying in a Cessna. He was a businessman, successful. He was flying in Oregon, the Northwest, and I think he was doing something weird. He was looking for a crashed ship of some kind, a plane. There was a reward, and the guy had money. He was just out there flying. He came across and saw 9 craft, and they were shaped like a crescent. They very strange. And he said they were flying in a formation, but the way they were flying was very odd. And they were jumping. They were like kind of teleporting forward, very glitchy. And the way he described it was, they said they flew like a saucer would if you skipped it across the water. Now that got reported as man sees flying saucers.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it wasn't the case at all. They were not shaped like saucers. It's a very odd thing to say because, number one, no one throws saucers, skips saucers across water. Like, no one would do that. He should have said they flew like a stone would if you skipped it across water. So if you skip a stone, you see the ripple, then you see another ripple, and it's going so fast that all your eyes track are the ripples. And so it's leaping forward like that. He was describing instantaneous motion. So the very first flying saucer case in the 40s was the instantaneous motion that now we know is not such a bizarre thing, because we've seen it time and time again, or it's been reported. Just like when Bob Lazar says, we have a reverse engineering program of alien craft. And he says that in 89, and people are like, yeah, whatever, dude, go back to your brothel. Then smash cut to our own intelligence officers, David Grush, Lou Elizondo, in front of Congress saying, we are reverse engineering alien craft. They're saying that. And then Bob, cut back to Bob, he says, yeah, I told you so. I've been telling you this.
Yeah.
So his claim of instantaneous motion doesn't seem so weird, and neither does the claim about a reverse engineering program. And now, neither does the claim that there's secret hangars carved into the side of that mountain at Papoose Lake. So we're running out of reasons to doubt this guy. But if you don't want to bottleneck it through the prism of Bob Lazar and one human being, go to Westall. Put your brain on autopilot and go research Westall UFO, and you write me your results, because I'm telling you that thing very much happened, and we need to factor that in to how we think about everything else.
Well, there is a number of instances like Westall, or like Commander Favor's Tic Tac, where even if I'm trying, I don't see any reasonable, rational way to say that's nothing. That was a figment of their imagination. that was, I can just dismiss that as something else, as a goose, as a weather balloon, or anything. I've got nothing. I've got nothing, even if I'm actively trying. There's a number of those, though, aren't there? Like, I'm
Yes.
just looking up a picture of the 1952 Washington DC UFO image. You must be aware of that one, quite famous one, from 1952, where there was just a photograph taken of, they are unidentified flying objects, whether they're manufactured on a planet that's orbiting another star, who knows, but there's certainly unidentified aerial phenomenon, completely unidentified to this day. There's that Scottish, what was, we were DMing about it earlier, that Scottish one from 1980. What was it called? Calvin, that's it. Let me just get up a picture of that. 1980. Like, there's a photograph of that, isn't there?
My only skepticism on the White House one is, like, yes, it is surreal and weird that we're about to have a UFC event at the White House, but the fact that UFOs would go to the White House is such a man-made construct. It's so right out of Hollywood that I instantly doubt the fact that because it was there. You know, it's just...
Well, I mean, it's just that experts have looked at that photo and said, you know, we can't rule it out. I'm just looking at the picture of the Calvin photograph. And again, for anyone who might not have ever heard of it, or we'll put it up in post-production one way or another. Yeah, experts, the smaller object there is definitely 100% a terrestrial fast jet. We know that the smaller object there is actually just a human fast jet that was scrambled. The bigger, sort of diamond-ish shaped, slightly flattened diamond-shaped object is an unidentified aerial phenomenon, and all experts, all photography experts, this is from 1980 in, like, Scotland, just can't explain, they can't rule it out as a glitch or a fake in any way.
Well, okay, so there's a few problems with it. Number one, the two Scottish guys who were taking a walk after work, they never came forward. So we don't know the guys who shot it, which is a problem. That's just a straight up problem. Then it did get, there was a cover up with this. So there is an interesting backstory, and very much like Watergate, or it's always the lies in the cover up that it generates a lot of smoke. So the cover up at Westall is scandalous. The cover up of America and Area 51 is so telling. I mean, so it's real. People are very sloppy with it. But the skeptics think there's a theory that Calvin thing is actually a rock sticking out of some water. And so we're right back to the Loch Ness Monster with these Scottish claims. And that the reason why it looks like a diamond is because that's a mirrored reflection of the top of it, which then you say, well, why is the airplane not, what is that, a twig? Like, why is that not reflecting in the water in the same way? That's not a symmetrical thing. And to which I'd say that's a good point. Also, do you see the fence with the little sheep wool kind of stuck on it in certain parts, barbed wire? I don't think, and maybe you're from a rural background, but I don't think you put up barbed wire fences in front of a lake. Like, the lake is the fence. The sheep are not going to go swimming. They're not going to run for the border. So I just don't think you do that. And so therefore I don't think it is water. And that's sort of my thought.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on this one, I personally believe or convinced by the fact that, I mean, apparently photography experts have gone over and over and over in this one and tried to show, to illustrate beyond a doubt that there's fakery going on in one way or another. And apparently they haven't on this one. Apparently they've come to the conclusion that we don't know what it is. We're not saying it was manufactured by alien hands and alien minds around another star, but we're telling you it's not a fake photo one way or another. It's not a stone on a lake. It's not just something that someone who knows photography very, very well was able to manipulate the negative or anything like that. It seems to have been an object that actually was in the sky that day.
Well, I mean, it could be a non-fake photo and still be a reflection of the water, but sort of an optical illusion. But the problem is it's one photo, and a picture's worth 1,000 words, a video's worth 1 billion words, and also the motion. So half the time when you get these UFO leaks, and it's a thing that's floating and it's not changing direction and it's not doing instantaneous anything, maybe it is a balloon, maybe it is something floating, a bird or whatever. it's really the motion that we are seeking, and that's going to be the smoking gun. And it, we are really in a unique position where recording stuff with cameras and video used to mean everything, and now it means next to nothing. And we are inundated. You should see my timeline. I get UFO stuff presented all the time. My brain has entered a new zone where I just don't trust or believe anything. It's so interesting, because that was not what it was back in the day. I mean, in our lifetimes, it wasn't like that at all. And so eyewitness accounts, even though you mentioned that they aren't great and they have their flaws, they actually have been empowered with more relevance and importance now.
Okay.
The credibility of multiple eyewitness accounts is probably better than video now.
Well, yeah, it's difficult to believe anything. I've seen a number of AI generated things where I've been for at least for a while, at least for a few moments, if not longer. I'm like, okay, wow, that's an amazing new thing. Oh no, it was AI, but it was for a while. It was absolutely convincing. So towards the beginning of the conversation, you said there was at least 3 examples, of which Westall was one. Tell me the other 2.
Well, I mean, my claim right now, I'm willing to put my foot down on Westall, the 3 UFOs that were down there, on the Tic Tac of 2004. But if you want to go more than that, there's 2023, and there's other ones. The Mexicans have seen them, and then also Bob Lazar. I'm saying Bob Lazar is a true asset. He's truly telling the truth the whole time. And there is another one, though. There is an event from 1994, which is very similar to Westall, which happened in Zimbabwe. And it's slightly younger kids, and it's a very trippy story, but it also shares a lot of the things that Westall has. There were 62 kids that had an encounter in broad daylight for multiple minutes, 5, 10 minutes, 15. They lost track of time, where it's even crazier what happened there, but they all got interviewed on the spot. So there's footage of those kids getting interviewed about what they saw, which was a couple UFO crafts landed, aliens got out of them. One of the aliens was standing on the craft, walked towards them, locked eyes with them, sent telepathic messages to them. Now, all of that is, it's noteworthy. Those are claims that are distinct from Tic Tac and Westall. No one's even talking about aliens with those. These kids saw aliens, and 62 of them did. And like Westall, they're still saying the same thing, and they're all middle-aged now. So what is that about? Also, those crafts moved instantaneously, so they would teleport and dart around. And when they said that in 94, that was a ridiculous claim. That's like me saying I ran the 4-minute mile while invisible. They didn't know about Bob Lazar. They didn't know about Westall. No one did. So there is no confirmation. To say it moved like that, it actually makes people think you're crazy. And also, they said not only did the crafts move like that, the aliens moved in that manner. First, he's there, boom, he's over here. So whatever tech they had to manipulate time or gravity, or space, whatever, same thing. It's all confusing. They're using it on their suits. So that's how they personally traveled. And it's a very gripping tale, and I get why people would dismiss it. The problem is it's harder to dismiss once you have revisited the pins you've put in. The pin you put in Tic Tac, the tack you put in Tic Tac, the Westall event, and the Bob Lazar stuff. It's like a reverse cascading tsunami of credibility going backwards, where, oh my God, we got to revisit some of this stuff knowing what we know now. And if you aren't comfortable saying that, you just haven't done the research on those events. Because once you do, your brain will automatically reassess and revisit prior claims, and you'll start looking for patterns. And now it's not so crazy what those kids in Zimbabwe were saying at all.
Okay, so let's revisit the Tic Tac thing, because for me, I agree with you. I can't dismiss it. So real quick, for anyone who might never have heard of it, off the west coast of America, back in the earlier 2000s, some fast jet pilots, more than one fast jet pilot, saw a UAP, but the Tic Tac, the so-called Tic Tac, and they watched it for quite a while. Very, very credible eyewitness accounts. But it was also captured on at least 2 or is it even 3 different electronic, like, what was it, radar, like visual optical cameras, and something else as well, right?
The FLIR camera is the targeting camera on these jets. It was the state of the art. It's the best thing we have.
Right.
Actually, they just updated their radar. So we were in the ramp up to war in Iraq. It's 2004, and they're doing training exercises off the coast of San Diego. And you didn't do it justice when you framed it. It's not one UAP. We're talking about dozens, and for weeks they're tracking these things, and they're floating at like 20,000 feet in the air, and they're going, what the hell are those? All right, they're not messing with us, so like we have other stuff to do, but what are those? So eventually Kevin Day, this one radar tech, said, you know what, let's send our guys over to check those out. And so he just pinpointed one of them at random, the one that was closest, and he said, let's send our jets over there. And it was David Fravor, who had, he was the commander. We're talking 20 years in the service. This is literally a Top Gun pilot. So we send Tom Cruise out there with his wingman, a woman named Alex Dietrich. She was young. She just didn't want to crash the jet. But they flew out there, and they saw some water that was roiling. It was white water. It looked like there was a jumbo jet submerged. And we're talking about crystal clear Southern California sky, calm waters. Again, just broad daylight. And they're looking down at this thing in the water. They have no idea what it is. It has a T shaped, so it looks like a jumbo jet. And as they're looking down there, they see a Tic Tac, and it's breaking the laws of physics, or our understanding of physics. It's going left, right, up, down, like north, south, east, west, super, super fast. And it's glitching their brains. They don't even understand it. And they're talking to each other on their comms, going, what the hell is that? And they're dropping F-bombs and the whole thing. And so David Fravor, being the Tom Cruise guy that he is, he goes, I'm going to go down and check it out. So he dives down to get within half a mile of this thing.
What is he, in an F-18, isn't he?
Yeah, at the top of the line stuff. He goes down there and starts a little dogfight. The Tic Tac rises up and is mirroring his spiral descent. It's coming up, and he's about to cut across its path. And he just described this on Joe Rogan. I mean, the guy is, by the way, they described this years later. So you realize this account, even in the 21st century, there's a stigma, and none of these people want to be the crazy UFO alien people. And so it took, accidentally, the New York Times leaks this story in 2017. They put an article out. And these people make the rounds on podcasts in 2020, 2021. Begrudgingly 15 years later, they're like, okay, fine, I'll tell you about that. Anyway, we have it on video. We have it on radar. It was jamming their radars. I don't know how many other forms of, recording you need, but this is our state-of-the-art top guys. Perfect credibility, perfect resume. These guys didn't run a brothel. These guys aren't lying about their college degrees. They're completely trustworthy human beings. And they saw the thing. Then they come back. It teleports away, by the way, and it says it took off like it was shot out of a gun. So instantaneously, just funk, gone. The second he got right up on it. They have no idea what to make of it. They tell the next guy, the next crew that's going to go out, hey, we saw this Tic Tac over there. Go film it. Go try to find it. And he did. And he filmed it. And then cut to Thunderfoot saying it's a plane. It's 100% not a plane.
It's a goose. It's just parallax effect of making it appear that it's moving very fast. It's just a goose.
Oh my God. Parallax and weather balloons can just get you everywhere in life. Apparently.
I mean, for me, the Tic Tac is, I believe the accounts of Commander Fravor is about as credible as an eyewitness as you can get, isn't it?
Correct. Yes.
But the fact that it's captured on more than one sort of digital and optical military observation stuff. For me, you can't. There isn't really any reasonable way to dismiss that. It would be unreasonable to say that's just all lies and nonsense.
Yeah, and all of these guys, they don't jump to conclusions. They don't say, "Oh, little green men, aliens." They don't know any of that. They're just saying, "Look, this is what happened." I'm not here. It's above my pay grade to tell you what it all means or how it works.
Like some people, I think Thunderfoot said, Commander Fravor is just looking for notoriety.
He just 1,000,000% no.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I really don't buy that. He's got a very, very boring life. He's a very small, sad man, and he's made up a story. Effectively, they're not Thunderfoot's words, but effectively, and he's just looking for something to become famous, to become well known, and be the centre of attention. I
But-
don't buy that.
Yeah,
I
and
really
that's
don't buy that.
a totally unfair attempted character assassination of David Fravor. Good luck with that. You're never going to deny that guy's credibility.
Yeah.
But it's so much more than Fravor. So there's multiple people on the Nimitz and the Princeton who saw this, both on radar, and they saw the FLIR footage, the high def FLIR footage, which is not the version we have. There was a high def version that went on the LAN that they all saw, and they were going, "Holy crap! How's this thing doing what it's doing?" There was also binoculars. They call it the big eyes, I guess, on the deck of the ship. So you get out on the deck. Multiple witnesses looked at these things on the horizon, doing that motion, doing that quick jutting around, teleporting stuff. So they've all come forward, and it's dozens and dozens of people, and it's an overwhelmingly compelling case. And what it means, what it implies, where to go from there. Because we could talk about what we still don't know about those. We don't know how it does what it does, and who's behind it, and why, and there's a million things we don't know. But what we do know is it happened, and it's real, and it's possible. So now what are the other questions to ask, knowing that we know that? Wait, what were those kids in Australia talking about? Right. They said it moved instantaneously. Okay, well, yeah, that's a thing. Okay, that's a thing.
You're quite right. What it implies, if you accept that the Tic Tac was real, that Commander Fravor and all the electronic surveillance stuff off the West Coast that day, assuming you accept that as real, what it implies, as you say, is something incredible, isn't it? Quite remarkable that at the very least, if it doesn't come from, again, alien minds and alien hands and eyes that manufacture something around another star, at the very, very least, the US military, secret military at S4 or Area 51 are leaps ahead of anything they've ever let us be known that they are capable of, at the very, very least that.
And how dare they? What gives them the right to hoard this tech? Why? Who voted them into that position? Forget that. You are not better than us. You have no rights to this tech. And it's not national security bullshit. Get that? This is well beyond nation states. This is beyond a human. I mean, we have the right to know what is true about this universe and about that tech, which is on display. Now, there is a case to be made that it is our military, that those Tic Tacs are us. One of the reasons, after this Tic Tac left Fravor and his fellow pilot, they get a call on their radar. I guess they don't call it. The channels are always open. And it says, "Hey, Commander, guess where it is now?" He says, "Oh, it's at your cap point."
Yeah.
Which is a rendezvous point. And I was hyper vigilant. It's latitude, longitude, and elevation. This Tic Tac went to Fravor's cap point. Now, there's multiple groups of jets out there. This is the something called the Aces. There's little names. They all had, it really is like Top Gun. In fact, David Fravor's call sign was Sex. They called him David Sex Fravor. So this Tic Tac went to their cap point. And they're like,
their
what?
Beginning point for the training sortie in mid-air.
It's where you rendezvous, where you just wait for the other guys before you start your training exercise. That's like, it was 60 miles away. It was there instantaneously. Now, granted, it could have been a different Tic Tac because there was multiples, but we know that it moves instantaneously. Why on earth would an alien know to go there? Why would they do that? Yeah. This seems like a frat bro joke that one part of our military is playing on another part of our military. Now, what did Bob Lazar say? In the hangar that housed the sports model UFO, he saw a poster, like a professionally made poster on the wall, of the craft floating off the desert floor, and it said, "They're here." And it was like a joke. They're memeing about this shit. They probably have had this thing for decades. The military is a bunch of boys with toys. Yeah. Make no mistake. And those are the type of guys that would have a sense of humor to mess with other portions of our military. And like, they asked Fravor, they said, Congress, I forget the congresswoman, but she's like, "Do you think this poses a threat to our national security?" He laughed. He's like, "Hell yeah, it does. Kidding me? This makes our military totally redundant. This thing could go wherever we're not even in the same ballpark here in terms of tech. So this is a game changer. militarily, in terms of power, in terms of, listen to Bob Lazar talk about what this controlling gravity, what it could do. I mean, forget what the second you start talking about time travel, these are time machines, you're aware. When we're talking about space and time, that's usually the exit point for most people's brains. When they say space time, people are like, okay, I'm out, gonna go take a walk. But it is true that you're not going to travel in time like, what's his name, back to the Future. You're not going to go back to the 60s and like have sex with your mother or anything. Nothing that exciting. But you can manipulate time in some way. Bob Lazar described his reactor. They pointed one of these gravity amplifiers at a candle, a flickering candle. The candle stopped. It just froze. And they were like, well, that's something we're watching. They have no idea what is happening, but clearly it is affecting time.
Well, yeah, I mean, sorry, 1 second. Well, the idea that if you can move as fast as light, like a proton, an actual proton, that a proton doesn't experience time. For a proton, time stands still, effectively. It could travel across the universe, across the cosmos for billions of years, but from the point of view of the proton, no time has passed. Right? So yeah, I mean, that's mind blowing, isn't it? But so if you could, if you could manipulate space-time, gravity, space-time, to the point where you move as fast as light, then you would move quite literally instantaneously. You would move from one point to another, and no time has passed. Not a very small amount of time. No time has passed. Now you're not fast. You're not traveling as fast as a bullet. You're not traveling 1,000,000 times as fast as a bullet. You're traveling instantaneously. Literally, no time whatsoever has passed between you being at those two different points.
We have.
It's mind blowing, isn't it? If it's real, if it's true.
Yeah. We are made of this earth, so we're familiar with the rules that we see around us. So gravity we take as the norm. We don't think of, but if you actually get down to it, they might have decoded the fabric of the universe, which is not a minor thing to have done. And we don't even understand it. In fact, Bob, we keep saying the word gravity. That's a placeholder. We have no idea what this power is, what this force is. Yep. It doesn't act like gravity. Bob has mentioned many times that if it were to be gravity, it would do this, and it's not. So I don't, they say anti-gravity, and that's a cute little thing but we don't have the words to describe this because we didn't originate it, we didn't engineer it, we don't really understand the mechanism of what it's doing. So it could just be the next level that we need to ascend to. And it really is an interesting, talk about sci-fi. Sci-fi needs to move ahead. We got to get way past what they're doing on Star Trek, and we got to start actually contemplating what this could mean if we don't kill ourselves before any of it. Because, think of the war games. Do you remember, what would we do? If I just told you, when we invented the car, how did we weaponize it? When we invented the boat, the U-boat, when we invented the blimp, the airplane, the hydrogen, or splitting an atom, all of those things, we just immediately killed ourselves.
Well,
and weaponized.
Maybe that does make some sense then. Say the United States military and or intelligence services or whatever have got this stuff, have reverse engineered whatever they've done, whatever they've got, and it's so it's so sort of what's the word? Sort of it's so ring fenced that even people in the military don't really know about it. You end up even with congressmen and senators that are on the intelligence committees don't know about it, right? Okay, it's that secret. And their calculation is exactly that if the Russians or the Chinese or whoever, if they also got this, we're on a crash course to going to war with them and us over this. It has to be, their calculation is maybe that we have to have a complete monopoly on it and a secret one, because otherwise it would end up with a world conflict and maybe destroying the world.
It makes perfect sense, but it reminds me of the lyric from Sting about Russians, where he says, "I hope the Russians love their children too." So Maybe they're not hell-bent on destroying the world or the Chinese. It's kind of a boogeyman. I think America is so dirty with all this, man. Like it's so gotta be America. But it reminds me of Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Swap out that Ark for this UFO. It's the exact same thing. In fact, Steven Spielberg did that 20 years later with the sequel where they just talked about UFOs and aliens. But by the way, the Lost Ark of the Covenant, they stored it at Area 51 in that movie series. So it all comes together. Steven Spielberg's putting out a movie, Disclosure Day, which is going to be highly relevant to this. Apparently, it's an amazing movie. But think of what those guys were about. We're talking World War II. We're talking 1940s. Most of that Indiana Jones stuff, 30s even, looking for supernatural, magical artifacts. And then why? Why do you think the Nazis wanted the Ark of the Covenant? They wanted it to wield its power, or the Holy Grail. I mean, it's raw human greed, it's fear, it's power, it's everything. It's everything. I mean, this is the track record. This is our MO. This is what we would do. This is, by the way, what Eisenhower warned us about in his closing remarks. He said, beware of the military-industrial complex. What do you think he was talking about? He's talking about this. He's talking about those guys already exist. The presidents don't know about it. Obama had the nerve to come out there and say, there is no secret underground military base at Area 51 where we're storing UFOs or aliens. And it's like, bitch, Area 51 is a secret military base. What are you talking about? There already is a conspiracy. And you're wrong about the second military base there, S4. But Obama wouldn't know.
I thought he came out and he said there are aliens, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but people took that to mean he has personal knowledge of aliens. He was just saying the numbers would.
You must also know the story of when Jimmy Carter asked for the security clearance to see everything, and the Pentagon turned him down. That he's the commander-in-chief, he's the head of government, the head of state.
But, okay.
And they said, no, you can't have the clearance.
Yeah, he's also a peanut farmer. He also had a UFO sighting, I think, of his own. But he's a one-term president. He's a temp. The executive branch has nothing to do with this. These people do not have clearance. So it's a quaint idea to think that the president is the commander-in-chief. He's not. The military run shit. They run shit like they're a sub-Saharan, a warlord. I mean, these guys have power. They found the mother of all toys. They're trying to tinker with it. This is a very plausible thing. They have black budgets. We're talking millions of dollars. Now, it is interesting. Bob Lazar comes into this. Obama was like, look, you don't think that if we had a UFO in a hidden base near Area 51, that some worker, some guy would take a selfie with it to impress his girlfriend? That's what he said recently. Bob Lazar took his wife to see the craft.
That did happen. Yeah,
he did happen. Yeah. And they're sitting there saying there would be a guy who leaked. There was a guy who leaked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, even by your own criteria, this has happened.
Yeah.
But again, people are incredulous and they need more. And you got to plop the alien in Neil deGrasse Tyson's lap before we move the conversation forward. Meanwhile, the evidence that we are providing to you, whether it be Tic Tac, Bob Lazar, but definitely Westall, this is evidence that would fry a man. We would put a man in an electric chair and kill him. If we still use electric chairs, we don't even kill anybody anymore. We got to bring the death penalty back. But the point is, we have certainty. You might not. I do. Now, I mean, I've been talking about this, and I was not an early adopter of Bob Lazar. I was skeptical as all hell. I was like, what? I don't buy it, dude. It's a fanciful tale. In what world am I going to believe this? And then I found the Tic Tacs, and I was like, oh shit. Okay, hold up. Let me go back. And he's discussed this on Joe Rogan. By the way, his appearance on Joe Rogan has like 60 something million views. It might be the most viewed conversation that has ever taken place in humanity. What conversation has more than 60 million? Okay, that's wild. There's a lot of interest around this. And as you look at Bob Lazar talk, and there's a part of your brain that never turns off that is going, I don't think this guy's lying. This guy seems credible. He doesn't act like he's lying. This is all sort of checking out. And time after time, things are popping up that validate what this man is saying. And then you think, God dang it, I got to go to work, or I got to take the kids to the soccer practice. But that's kind of uncomfortable.
I've got to move on with my life. But it's disquieting, isn't it? Because, as you say, what it suggests, if it is true, Bob Lazar's story, and the tic tac. What it suggests is a complete game changer, as you say, the biggest story ever.
Of your life,
completely
of our
changes,
life.
completely changes our understanding of the entire cosmos. Really, doesn't it?
Correct.
I mean, there's one other thing before, because unfortunately I've got to wrap it up in the next 20 minutes or so at most, just because of the way the back office production staff work. They need to go home at a certain point, so I've only got 20 minutes or so at most left.
Okay.
So there's one thing I want to move on to and talk a little bit about, which is the Disclosure Project, but it's building on exactly what we've been talking about, where like the credibility of Bob Lazar, the credibility of eyewitnesses, whether it's Commander Favour or the 100+ kids in Westall, the Disclosure Project, and instantly, I don't want to get too tinfoil hat about it, but it was going to come out just before 9/11 happened, and then 9/11 happened. But anyway, in 2001, I think August or maybe even early September 2001, there was the Disclosure Project. I mean, it's still there, but they'd got together. Who was the guy? You probably know it off the top of your head. Who's the guy who's the main? I think you might have mentioned him earlier. Dr. Greer.
Oh,
Dr. Greer.
You mean John Lear?
No, Greer.
No, Greer. Right. Stephen Greer. Right.
Stephen Greer. Dr.
Right.
Stephen Greer. He got together. He's still around now, and so he got together a collection of unbelievably convincing witnesses. These are people that again, their CV is faultless, immaculate. There's everything from generals, colonels, people that are like congressional lawyers, and on and on and on. NASA people, a great number of accounts and witness accounts that he got together in one place at one time to try and sort of force disclosure, quote unquote disclosure. And I don't know if the videos are still out there. They must be still out there. Long form, hours long videos of one by one, then coming up to a lectern and saying, "This is my story. This is what I saw. This is what I experienced, and I'm prepared to stand up in front of a court, and stand up in front of a grand jury, Congress, whatever you like, a senatorial hearing, anything, and I will put my hand on a Bible and all that. And this is what I saw." And it's remarkable stuff that they saw underground bases, they saw aliens, they saw all sorts of crazy stuff, lots of things that are like Commander Favor's account, or Bob Lazar type accounts, levels like that. Now, again, that number of witnesses with that level of credibility to them, difficult to. There's one or two, for me personally, one or two I can discount. I'm not sure about this person. It's shaky a little bit here or there, but a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are like, well, I've got no rational reason to discount that account. Do you know much about Dr. Stephen Greer and the Disclosure Project?
He's a fascinating man, and every time he talks, it's riveting. He seems like a John Lear type, actually. He knows a lot, but look, it's hard. Not everything's going to pan out. And I could sit here, we could talk for 2 hours about all the crap BS claims that is easily been debunked.
Yeah.
I mean, there are many of those. Sure. Even like Jeremy Corbell and the US government, they put out this green triangle and they're going, oh, look, these green triangles are out there. It's like, dude, it's a night vision camera that has an aperture that is in the shape of a triangle. This has been recreated. Like, it's blinking. The craft is blinking. It's clearly an airplane. It's like alien crafts do not blink in the same way that our airplanes blink. There's a law that it's just crazy. So look, I'm just as skeptical. I'm just as atheistic. I'm just as rational. I'm not a lunatic. There's a million claims that I would just shoot down. Sure. But the thing is, once you establish that some things are true and just play it as a thought experiment. You talked about Zeta Reticuli, that Bob Lazar had seen that in the briefing document, said this is where it came from. It's like they knew that planet's the third planet it had two suns. It was like Tatooine. But, we know of the existence of this place. And then come to find out there was an alien abduction story, famous one from the 1950s, I believe, or 60s, Betty and Barney Hill, I believe. And an interracial couple from back in the day, they had a very detailed, it's a famous alien abduction story. And they went into hypnosis and revealed stuff. And it's, you're facing the wall of, look, it's a story from two people. It's, what are we gonna, It's a extraordinary claim. They're never going to have extraordinary evidence to back it up. But in that, Betty Hill, I believe her name was, maybe I'm butchering it, she said that the aliens showed her their star system, and she made a map of it, and someone figured out that the map she drew, the alignment of the stars, was Zeta Reticuli. Now, could it be that Bob Lazar heard of that story? He didn't. He was not into this stuff. Could he have heard of it and then lifted that and put it into his quote lie? Or, if Bob Lazar is telling the truth, what the hell was Betty and Barney doing? How would they have picked that star system in this ever expansive universe? What are the odds of that? So it's one of these situations where either both are telling the truth or both are lying. I don't think one is telling the truth and one is lying. Hold on, I think I butchered the logic of that, but
I know what you're getting at. I absolutely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's super interesting if you could hold on to whatever skepticism you want, but as an experiment, reassess things based on what you are counting as accurate, counting as true. And as far as disclosure, man, I mean, it would take Donald Trump. It takes Trump to even do this. He doesn't even seem that interested in it. He doesn't want to be. He's sort of going, other people are talking about it. It's popular. It's good for ratings or something like that. But I mean, they could blow the lid off this thing. With one, like the Westall photos or an alien craft or confirmation on Bob Lazar or any Tic Tac. I think that Elon Musk should film our atmosphere. Take all those Starlink satellites, just HD record everything in our lower Earth orbit. I think it's time. We have been invaded multiple times by multiple crafts, and it's like, at what point do you put a home security system in your house?
Well, that's another thing. Some of the STS various what were they called? The shuttle, various shuttle missions, which saw all sorts of anomalous and very, very difficult, if not impossible, to explain phenomena. Or even recently, in the last couple of weeks, there was another, I think, Pentagon or FBI dump of information, which even talked about some of the early Apollo missions, or even pre-Apollo, some of the Mercury or Gemini, some of the Gemini missions. So before Apollo, in the earlier in the 1960s, where there's astronauts going up there saying, well, there's some sort of what we would call now a UAP flying alongside us here, and Houston saying, really, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, it's not part of our craft. It's not a jettisoned part of our craft. And they're like, okay, loads of accounts like that, loads.
That's interesting, but you could chalk that up to, look, they don't understand a lot of the stuff that they're seeing out there because it's the first time out there, and there's a lot of crazy crap happening in outer space. So it could just be an actual unidentified thing that it's not necessarily alien. But NASA has been lying. I mean, NASA put out a report about UFOs, and they were like, yeah, we haven't found anything. Nothing to see here. And it was laughable that those guys did that. And it's so not true, and they have egg on their face now because the truth is coming out. And the next batch of releases they're ramping up. They're going to get crazier and crazier. And I think they're testing the waters. I think it's dipping their toe. They're trying to see if the public is going to freak out. Meanwhile, everyone is struggling economically and trying to forge ahead despite challenges in their lives. So at this point, we've been blue-balled so much, and we've been edging about actual disclosure that we're just going, dude, enough is enough. Like, we survived a pandemic. There's wars. It's like, good Lord, we're on the clock here. Like, just tell us, enough is enough.
So I suppose I have to start wrapping up now, but I suppose what I want to ask you, put you on the line, put you truly under the spotlight. Let's take things. We accept that the Westall is physically there, that the Tic Tacs were physically there, that what Bob Lazar saw was physically there. Now, what do you think, or to what percentage roughly do you think that they are entirely made by human men, or they were designed and manufactured on an alien world that orbits another star?
My personal intuition would say it's 98% from an other world.
Really? Okay.
It just doesn't make sense. I mean,
Okay.
the only caveat being you might have seen a human reverse engineered byproduct of our acquisition of alien tech.
Right.
So it's going to be a little of both. But it's definitely not a nothing burger. This is a something burger. And it's the biggest story of our lives. And we might be on the verge of actually getting somewhere with it. All the Westall people, they just had the 60th anniversary. They just want the truth. They're like sick of it, and they're not going to live forever. And they're going, can we move the needle? Can we progress? I mean, we're not that dumb collectively. We can get things done. You know, the Egyptians stacked up a bunch of rocks. People seem to be impressed by that, which is, you know, I'm not ever quite as impressed as it seems that other people are. But I think we could actually solve what is the greatest mystery of our time. And I think we're on the path to do that. Okay. Very interesting. I mean, one last thing. I find it fascinating when the US government, I mean, the known government, not any sort of like shadow government, the front-facing, supposed to be legit government, they come out and they say, which they have been doing for quite a while now, well over 2 years, maybe in fact for quite a few years now, they will come out, whether it's in Congress, the Senate, the Pentagon themselves, they come out and they say, we don't know what this is. It's not us, and we don't know what it is. And that's it. And then they go, well, there you go. That's all we can say. That's all we can say. That should be very, very eye-opening. The fact that the vast majority of people just sort of move on from that. They're like, oh, okay, fair enough. CBS is reporting that now, are they? All right, well, anyway. Yeah. Every time I look at the news, it seems like the opening scene of a horror movie or a apocalyptic movie. It's just like, what? The opening of I Am Legend is a woman figures out how to cure cancer and rejuvenate cells. And then next thing you know, there's a zombie apocalypse. I mean, yes, this is crazy. What we take as normal now, what they've already admitted to is completely bonkers. And it's like, yeah, it's not good enough. It's unidentified. Yeah, I mean, of course it's unidentified. Of course there's a mystery about it. But it's not good enough. Some people say, oh, I think that the kids in Westall saw something. I think David Fravor saw something. Not good enough, sir. You're removed from the jury. Like, that is a cop-out. That is intellectual cowardice.
Yeah.
Okay, what they saw is what they described, and we have every reason to think so. And don't believe me because I'm saying it, or Bo. I'm challenging you. You go see what you can discover and get back to me. You know, I mean, again, move it forward. I don't have a vested interest in this. I'm not, you know, look, I would tell you if I doubted this and I thought it was nothing, I would say it. It's not. And this is not on a whim. This is after years of slow, painstaking research into the things I'm talking about. And it gives me the confidence to say that. And the conversation is going to switch radically the second they flip that switch and release the actually relevant things. And then we're going to talk about a whole new set of things, and I'll come back on the Lotus Feeders.
Okay, great. No, thank you very much for your time. I have to wrap it up there, basically.
All right.
Yeah, I've got to wrap it up there. Okay, so Devon, thank you so much for your time. Would love to have you back. It always seems far too long between our conversations.
Yes.
We could have a part 2 of this. We've barely scratched the surface, really, haven't we?
True.
So
in the meantime, I will watch England bring it home. And it's going to be two World Wars and 2 World Cups. So that's happening.
Fingers crossed, yeah. Or we'll get to the second round or the quarterfinal, play someone half decent and get knocked out. Like every single tournament.
And then we'll fester in our own angst and dread about the whole thing. Definitely.
Okay, once again, thank you for your time, and I'll speak to you again sometime soon. And
all right,
everyone else out there, I hope you enjoyed that. Until next time, take care.
All right. Earlier this year, you said of aliens,
yes,
quote, they're real, but I haven't seen them. Then You tried to walk it back the next day. You know no one believed you, right? Because that first one had the ring of truth. It was just a guy just finally let it out. And then the next day you're like, well, what I meant was, I'm sure that somewhere out there, given the infinite, nature of the universe and the bill, no one buys that. Just come clean, man. You don't want to tarnish a reputation for just like frankness and honesty at this point of your career.
Oh, Lord.
Sir, at long last, won't you just...
I thought it was so obvious what I meant.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Oh, it was obvious what you meant. But we all got the message.
Here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
For those of you who still think that, we've got little green men underground somewhere.
Yeah?
One of the things you learn as president is government is terrible at keeping secrets. This idea of conspiracy theories, if there were aliens or alien spaceships or anything under the control of the United States government that we knew about, seen, photographs, what have you, I promise you, some guy guarding the installation would have taken a selfie with one of the aliens and sent it to his girlfriend to impress him.
When I came back from S4, I would tell Gene kind of what happened. I was really concerned about talking to anybody else. And I just, I picked Gene, who was the closest friend at that time in Las Vegas.
He took us out there. We went in Lear's RV. It was Bob and his wife and Lear and me. And we saw what we could later identify as a flying disc because it has novel movements in the sky. Helicopters and blimps and airplanes don't do this. It can float around very softly and then dart up here and then be here. And then you don't even see it move. And now it's down here.
If there were aliens or alien spaceships or anything under the control of the United States government that we knew about, seen, photographs, what have you, I promise you, some guy guarding the installation would have taken a selfie with one of the aliens and sent it to his girlfriend to impress him.
We went in Lear's RV. It was Bob and his wife and Lear and me. And
it would leak.
Or there'd be like him.
Shortly thereafter, they asked me to come down for another interview, and they said this was involving, I don't remember their exact wording, but they led me to believe it was a field propulsion system, and of course I thought it was something that, in secret, that we were working on. Later, only did I find out that it was a back engineering program dealing with alien craft.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51.
There's a bus there that drives about 15 miles south, approximately. I'm really not sure exactly how far, down to a smaller dry lake bed known as Papoose Lake. And right up against the side of the mountain is the S4 installation.
There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy.
I fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait. I fly like paper, get high like planes.
It actually went up in the air like this and hovered, then dropped way down.
Sometimes I think sitting on trains. Every step I get to, I'm clocking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making my name.
But the facts are, you really did work out there. S4, side of the building, a side of that mountain, Papoose Lake, 9 craft that we didn't make, right?
Yeah, let's get that straight right now. Everything I said is exactly as I said it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. One thing I'd like to address is, my motivation. I don't understand. A lot of people come up with different stories, but really, you need to explain to me what my motivation would be to make up a story like this. And I've said it before, I said it in the movie, I can absolutely make up a better story. There's so many loose ends in this thing. But you know, for people that think there's a big payout or a bunch of money involved, that's ridiculous. I have avoided doing anything, you know, other than maybe once every 30 years, any kind of lectures. I've had so many offers to do so many things, and I won't do them specifically because there's money attached to it, and I don't want to give the idea this is being done for money. These events actually did occur. You don't have to believe it or like it, but they did.